In today's session, we'll discuss about about the CK exam and how to prepare for it. What are the simple questions and how to handle, how to prepare for it. Okay, if you know that there is a CNCF exam blueprint, okay, so it's content like in the CK, CKD or CKS, what topics are covered. So I fetch, pull that data from CNCF, and based on that, uh, I prepare some put some sample questions for the exam perspective. So 25% from the cluster architectures, installations and configurations. Okay, so it's include how you install the clusters, what are the architectures, what are these configurations files you are managing, what are the services. Okay, and it's also include your master nodes, worker node, what are the core component of your master nodes, basic services, and so on. So it's also include backup of your ATCDs, uh, 15% from the workload and scheduling. So how you plan your workload in your clusters, how to scale up your clusters and all those things. Okay, so you will get all these details on the CNCF GitHub website. So they keep updating based on these latest Kubernetes version. So right now, they are this it is available on it's on version 1.31. Okay, so last month it was on 1.30, but as the version 1.31 is released, so it's updated now. So you have to be whenever you're going for exam, it's always good to check the exam blueprint and check these the Kubernetes version, so that during exam you won't be surprised. Although most of the thing is there is no difference at all, but some APIs versions got changed. Okay, so check the release note and see these what are the changes between two releases. Okay, so that will be always helpful. So for example, any API version is in beta v1, and in the latest versions it's GA. So you will see these. You have to check the difference. Next one is service network. Yeah, service networking. So it's about uh, how you are accessing your pods inside the pod, outside the cluster, inside the clusters, the difference between cluster IPs, node port, load balancers. Okay, so how you plan in the on-prem environment or in this the cloud environment. Okay, network policy is very important. So securing your pod-to-pod communications, all those things, how these DNS stuff is working inside the cluster, outside the clusters. Okay, and how to use this the CNI, which is responsible for the network connectivities between inside your cluster. Okay, so it's always I will recommend to while you are learning, explore all these CNI versions available, the supported CNI versions like the Calico, Ciliums, Weave, even you can try with the loopback. Okay, so there are every CNI having pros and cons. So in a real life, it will be very helpful. Okay, but you have to be basic understanding about how this CNI is working, what are the dependencies of why we need a CNI in the clusters, and how it is helpful to fine tune your network connectivities or the troubleshooting part, and so on. Okay, so it's about 20% in the exam, and 10% from the storage. So storage is is mainly cover about what is the CSI, how to use these storage class, how to use the persistence volume, how to use the persistence volume clean. Now, like the CSI is very much mature, so it's having like additional features like you can create the snapshot. Using that snapshot, you can create other PV and you can use it. How to like resize and yeah. So these are these basic features of CSI. So you have to be like understanding how to use the host path, local storage, or any external storage providers. Okay, and how to use that inside a pod. Okay, so that is also very important. Then the 30% from these troubleshooting part. So like I mentioned, so uh, uh, the Kubernetes clusters having these lots of component control plane, worker nodes, OS services, uh, how to check the pod logs, how to scale up, scale down, difference between deployments, and daemon sets and all those things. Okay, so you have to be like good understanding about this Kubernetes component. Then only you will be able to like troubleshoot if any troubleshoot the any issues occur in the Kubernetes environment. So not only the on-prem, but you have to be like if you're using on the cloud, then you must have like understanding about the cloud as well. So like how which networking type it is using, what the storage S3 or if it is on Azure, so what are the storage part you can use it, and how to access the logs and how to fix, identify the issues and fix it. But in the exam, it's a complete on-prem kind of environment. So you have the access of the nodes. You can start and stop the services on the nodes, and yeah. So you have to be basic understanding about uh, yeah. So these in exam the Kubernetes cluster running on this Ubuntu version. So you have to be familiar with the basic Linux command, how to read write the files, how to list the files, how to like modify the files, how to check the logs, system logs, how to start stop the services, and the basic troubleshooting part. Okay, so as it is specific to the Kubernetes, so you have to be like what where these manifest files are stored, how to check these containers, logs, pod logs, if Kubernetes is not running, how to check the system logs if the kubelet service is failing, so why it is failing, so what are the configurations file for that, and how to pass the extra arguments as per your to the kubelet services. Okay, so that is the like so these are the high level overview about the CK exam. Okay, I would suggest, okay, I will come to that part. Exam. So topic wise, simple question. So from the cluster architect and installations configuration, so you will get, so there are 17 question approx. Okay, approx I'm saying like if exam change when you are like planning for it, so maybe, but as of now it's 17, but you should prepare for additional questions as well. Okay, so I put the sample questions based on this like which domain. Yeah, so from the cluster architectures, installations, configurations, there are three questions. So like one is cluster roles, finding difference between deployment, stateful set, daemon sets, service account, how to use that service account in your deployment. And yeah, I will come to that part, WS test. Your name is Yuvraj, right? Okay, so I will come to that part. Give me a few minutes. So how to use that clusters role bindings and all those things. Okay. Uh, Second one is upgrading the cluster. Okay, so cluster upgrade. In exam, you will get the minor versions upgrade. So, for example, uh, the cluster version is 1.30.5, and you have to update on the 1.30.6 and so on. So, how you plan for the upgrade? Okay, so what are the pre-activities and the post-activity? So uh, check these upgrade. So first thing is, as it is running on the Linux, so you have to check that repositories is enabled or not, whether it is marked as hold or so that it won't be when you do the upgrade, it won't change that specific package. So how to check, validate those things? So check the repositories, check your this particular package is marked as hold or not. Then uh, uh, install these specific QLED versions, QADM versions specific to these desired Kubernetes versions. How to use the QCTL's QADM upgrade plan, and check for the other dependencies, how you cordon these nodes, okay, how to drain the nodes for upgrade. So you have to follow those steps in the exam so that you will get all the required points. Okay, read the questions very carefully in exam. So like it's the cluster environment, so you will get the master nodes as well as the worker node. Okay, so they will mention on which node you have to perform the upgradations. Okay, so you may have upgrade only the master node, not the worker node. Okay, so read the questions carefully. Then the third one is etcd backup. So so etcd is the database for your Kubernetes environment. So how to perform the backup of etcd and how to restore it. Okay, so etcd ctl, how to use the etcd ctl's command. How you may know that etcd versions 2 and 3, but now the etcd version 3 is supported. So how to pass the APIs parameters, what are the basic parameters to perform the etcd backup. Okay, so like the certificate, CA certificate, etcd CTL certificate keys, and the etcd's endpoint, and on which port it is running. Okay, and how to uh, do the backup, and you also be aware about how to restore that. Okay, so you will ask to restore a specific etcd version. So in exam, uh, they clearly mention. So if you restore these something, so it won't you may not able to access the cluster. Okay, and there is uh, there is three part. So one, so they wanted you to remove some specific things. Okay, then you have to upgrade the. So question is like this. So you have, take the snapshot, restore the snapshot, and remove one resource from the cluster. But the catch is if you do the restore, you will lose some permissions. Okay, and in that case, you won't be able to access your cluster. So read the questions carefully, see what you can do before snapshot backup, and what you can't do after the snapshot restore. Okay, so if you need to remove something, remove it before uh, take the snapshot backup, remove the component, and then restore the backup. Okay, because they will having some mechanism, their script will validate this thing. So read the questions carefully. Workload and scheduling. So it's a I would say a lengthy one, but if you complete this section, so you will get this good marks. Okay, so it's like six questions from this specific section. So some questions are very basic, so you can complete it within a minute. It depends how good you are with your hands-on experience, or even in the how you prepare for it. So like basic troubleshooting. So how these scheduler is not available. Okay, sorry. So this is the part of these troubleshooting, not here. So set the node name EKS1. So you have to do the basic troubleshooting. So very basic troubleshooting. So why if you do these QCTL gate nodes, so this node is not ready or not available. So how to do the basic troubleshooting? So like check the kubelet services status. Okay, check whether the kubelet service is enabled to start during the boot time. Okay, so if so, check start the service. Check the node QCTL gate node. Your node should be reported there and mark to start during the boot time. Okay, so system CTL and enable service name kubelet and so on. So we'll go through these hands-on after this. Yeah. Then scale the deployment to these six pods. So you will get a deployment and you have to scale it. And you have to check the rollout status. Okay. So it's basic commands. How you must be familiar how to scale these QC using the QCTLs command. Then you have to like create a pod which run on a specific node. Okay, so you have to familiar like how you use the node selector. Okay, based on any labels given or based on like predefined label. So first you have to check these label on the nodes, what labels are assigned, and then update your pod to use that specific labels to schedule on a specific worker node. Okay. Then fourth questions is you have to identify which node is like having some tent applied on it, and you have to put that node name in a specific file. So whenever you got a specific name, file name, this one, okay. So don't ignore it. So sometimes like they will give you a sample files, okay. So and use that sample files to create a resource. Okay, I will come to that point later on. Okay, so you have to update these files with this particular requirement. So how many nodes? So you have to like depends on the question. So whether you have to put the name or the number of nodes. So you can do it manually. So describe the nodes or check these logs. How it depends how you are comfortable with, and then put the numbers on name. So depends on the questions, but it's something like that. Then you have a create a node multi. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, this file is in our local system, right? That we have to save.
uh, so that's why I
This
keep
opt
saying
slash
read.
ku.
Yes, so read the question. So where it is stored. So yes, so for in this case, it's on your local system from where you are accessing the cluster. Okay, but in some case, like you have to access the master node or the worker nodes and something like that. So read the questions. So in this specific case, it's on your local terminal. from where you are like accessing the cluster.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Then you have to create a multi-pod container. So how to like create the multi-pod container? So using like qctls help command, or you can get the example from these Kubernetes docs. So how whatever is the convenient way and how you are comfortable, use that method. So it's not that challenging. So you have to be familiar the what is the multi containers for the concept of init container, concept of sidecars, and so on. So it's a easy one. Then how to check the pod logs. Okay, so for example, like you have to fetch some logs from running pod, so to check the logs or grep something specific. Uh, and there is a requirement. I'm like I think I'm mixing these uh, two questions, but yeah. So first you have to update a pod and add a sidecar. So that sidecar check the pod log and append into the this specific file. So that volume and volume mode will be given. So all you have to based on the given questions, you have to create add a sidecar with a specific name, a specific image version, and with the specific command. So here you have to be familiar with how you can add a sidecar container. Be uh, uh, what the name is given. Okay, what the container pod name is given, and what the image version is given, and in which files, from which volume. Okay, so it's a bit lengthy questions, but it's not that complicated. If you have these the basic your concept is clear for these multi-container pod or the sidecar or the minute container. So it will be like easy but lengthy question. Then service and networking. So three questions from this domain. So you have to create a. So first one is create a network policies and allow a specific port. Okay. Uh, I'm a specific port and some criteria is given, some requirement is there. So like from this specific port and from this specific namespace. So it's a very basic network policies. So and also read the question. So if they want something special, they highlight that requirement. Okay, so for example, like you have to create the default deny, or you have to create a allow to a specific namespace. So it's easy. So from the Kubernetes IO simple template, you can easily create the network policy. The sample file given in the exam is it's like very basic one. So like the name is given. Sorry, the skeleton file is given, but lacking these name of the network policy, the namespace, and the matching criteria. So better to use from these Kubernetes docs, and based on the requirement, you can fix it. Then you have to create a service. Okay. Uh, So they want a specific deployment need to be exposed. So uh, they will give you a service name, the port, okay, port and the target port, and yeah. So uh, be specific what name they want. Okay, so like if you create a service without any name, it's use this deployment name. So be a specific, uh, uh, give attention. So what name they ask for. Okay, then create a basic ingress rule. So ingress controller is given in the exam. So you have to check what ingress controllers is available in your clusters, and based on that, you have to like create a ingress to a specific namespace. Okay, and it's not complicated, and it's a simple ingress rule. So your port is given, your endpoint is given, and it's a basic HTTP, not the HTTPS. So you don't have to worry about the certificates and so on. So using the Kubernetes doc sample template, you can use it. Then the storage. So two questions from the storage. So one is you have to use a volume. Uh, you have to create a PVCs based on given storage class. And second one is they ask you to create a PV, mount into the specific mount path, and they will ask you to resize that volume. Okay, so resize means that they will ask you to extend it, not the reduce. Okay, so CSI check what storage class is there, what storage class you have to use for uh, to create the PV. Okay, so a storage class is configured. PV is also created. So all you have to create the PVC. Okay, so based on the Kubernetes doc uh, sample will help you there. And this one kubectl edit or patch that will work. Okay, so you can edit the PVCs and give the size, and it will work. And Uh, keep attention to this one. So they will ask you to specific read write ones or read write manis, and if you miss that one, so you won't be able to like create the PVC. Okay, so PV is created with a specific permissions, and you have to follow the same for PVC. Then pod logs. Uh, specific keywords. They will ask you to fetch a specific keyword from the log and write into the files. Then uh, so you have to find a specific pod where the uh, CPU is high. Okay, so how to use a filter, label filters to get the desired output. Okay, so QCTL get ports and with hyphen L and the specific label name. Okay, so like some ports with this specific label, some don't have this. So if you run the Q top ports, it will give you all the ports, but you have to check which ports having the specific labels. Okay, and based on that, you have to uh, get the top ports, and then you have to update these files with the name of the port is consuming high CPU. Okay, then it's a basic troubleshooting. So like the QLED service is stopped or having some issues. So that is a very basic uh, parameters missing in these QLED configurations. Okay, so you have to fix that as well. So you will, when you check the system log, you will see that which parameters is not appropriate for this QLED version. Okay, so it's like a kind of typo. Okay, so you will easily find it like If it is on the worker nodes, you can log in on the system and check the journal logs or check the sys logs or check the system CTL status of this specific uh, survey. So you will find that for which parameters it's complaining for, and then you have to fix that typo and make it restart and of course enable it. Then exam tapes, try to use QCTL help as much as possible. Okay, so like try to avoid leave your terminal. Okay, so whether it's for the fraction of minutes or second, but your first help should come from the you should use the QCTL help. So you will get for lots of things, lots of helps for using QCTL command. So like run a pod or create a deployment, scale up, scale down, create service, even cluster role binding, service account. You will get approx 80-90% of the help from the QCTL help. Only for like the templates, YAML template, you may go to the, you should go to the Kubernetes docs and pull that specific template. Cluster context, so it's a multi-cluster environment. So uh, like always use the right context. Okay, so whether it's you perform all these required activities, but on a wrong clusters, you will lose the mark. Uh, so the command is given there. So how to use a proper context on which cluster node, worker nodes, or master nodes. Instructions is very clear. Okay, so you don't have to bother about like how to use the specific context. The context is given there. You have to just copy and paste in your terminal. Uh, be familiar with the Kubernetes docs. Okay, so the specific sections, the concept, tasks, and all those things. So if you are familiar with the document structures, it will be easy for you in the exam to pick a right templates or specific commands and so on. Basic Linux commands and shortcuts is really helpful. So like you have to update some files or something. So depends whether you are comfortable with VI or the Nano editors. Use that one. So like if you're comfortable with Nano, don't try VI in exam or vice versa. With the latest exam environment, I observe, so you can use even GUI uh, uh, editor as well. So like mouse pad is there, gedit is also there. So from CLI, you can directly run the gedit and the file name. So it's open a GUI terminal, and as it is a GUI one, so it will be easy for you. But again, if you're comfortable with VI, don't try to experiment with any other editor. Okay. So by default, VI editor is VI is your default editor. So if you know how to use Nano or gedit, you can use it. Depends uh, how comfortable you are with. Understanding the service management. So it's how to check, how to start and stop the service, system CTLs, status, restart, difference between a start and stop. Okay, so when to use the restart, when to use this start or stop, and how to enable a service to start during boot time. So system CTL enables and the service name and so on. Yeah, how to check the system and the service log. So journal CTLs is your like first uh, is your so you should be familiar how to use the journal CTS or how to check these system logs. what are the path of so where log, or if pod is not running and you are not able to connect a pod, then how where to find this specific pod log. Okay, so you must be familiar with that. Whenever you are modifying a files or something, so take the backup of the pod, any configurations file. So for example, you are updating these APIs, Cube API, okay, and if it is in the manifest and you create a backup with a specific, so it's try to start it, where to keep a backup of, and if you miss did the typo, so how to restore from it, or if there is a pod running. So if there is a pod running, so you have to modify some specific parameters. So how to take the backups and uh, how to use it. So always keep a backup of any resources you are modifying it. Okay, so qctl get pods and -o YAMLs, and that uh, things. Time management is very crucial in the exam. So 17 questions in 2 hours. So if you are stuck at certain point, it will kill your time. Okay, so plan your time management. So in 3 exams, so the CK was very straightforward. So I picked the first questions and follow everything in a flow. Okay, and you won't believe I completed in 1.5 hours. So I got the 30 minutes to review each and everything. But in CK, I changed my strategy a bit different. So what I did in CKAD, I picked the highest scoring marks first, and then the lowest scoring points. And at some point, I stuck. Okay. And you won't believe, even I know the solutions, it took me extra time. And it's I got only 5 minutes to review all my questions. Okay. So simple strategy, what you are comfortable with, just flow uh, in that manners. Don't do experiment in exam. Okay. So, and when I follow the same thing in CK, so I start from the first questions and so on. If I believe it's a bit time consuming, I just mark it and move to the next questions. And I got the plenty of time to review all my questions and all those things in the CKs as well. So don't waste too much time in troubleshooting. Okay. So for example, if you need to create a pod and you miss something, so or for example, you're creating a network policies and something is not working. Okay, so don't try to troubleshoot it. It better to create a new template, modify it, and use it. Okay, and read the instructions very carefully. Okay, so like I given the example for the etcd. Okay, so once you restore a etcd snapshot backup, you won't get a permissions to delete a specific resource. Okay, so don't try to troubleshoot it. Okay, just move on. You will get the partial marks. Okay, so if you have a time, then only come back to that questions and do the troubleshoot. Okay, so and next thing is set up your own lab. Okay, so Minikube is also fine, but interacting with the services in a Minikube environment is not okay. So try to set up one master node, one worker node, or one master node, two worker nodes, or even you have a good resource. Try to create a multi master node cluster so that you can play with all these concepts. So uh, how the control plane is behaving, how to restore recovers, all those things. Okay, so try to set up your own lab, one master node, uh, one worker node is okay, but try to set up two worker nodes so that you can check the drainage, how to drains, how the cordon is working and behaving, the demand sets, and all those things. Last one. The more you set in lab, less you bleed in exam. Try to spend as much as time with in your lab, whether it is a code cloud or the killer code or even your own lab, your local lab or in the cloud. Try to play as much as possible. And I'm saying again, don't do experiment in exam. QCTL health is the best one to follow. Okay, so if you know how to use this QCTL health, then in very rare case you have to go to these Kubernetes doc. So most of the CLI help is very helpful. And the killer coder, of course, is one of the best. Like if you want to test a specific things and you don't have resource to create a lab. So, for example, for the storage part, okay. So you don't have to bother about create the storage class or the backend storage and all those things. So killer coder is the best. Even the free plan is okay, but if you like uh, if you go more depth or explore, so you can take like a week subscriptions or a month subscription. Depends like how we have what's your uh, what's your budget. Okay, but if you have the local node, so you will get the opportunity to play as and when required, and it will be really helpful. Okay, so that's it for it. So if you wish, we can go for the hands-on part for these questions, and yeah, then we can discuss something more. Okay, any questions related to this?
Not from my side.
Okay.
Maybe in the next session we can discuss about CKD more.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
CKD,
because I was just
CKS, yeah.
Dinesh, I missed the part where are we required to write in YAML?
Sorry.
No, no. So my question is, are we required to write any YAML codes or something, or the
You
resources we
need.
can?
Yes. So, for example, like if you create a network policies, okay, so you will get a very basic skeleton files. So it's a good to use from these Kubernetes docs and just like update all these required information there. So you don't have to write the manual one. So you can always pull the skeleton files from these Kubernetes docs. So that is really helpful. So just a second.
one question I have is like
Mhm.
uh, from this CK perspective, like CNI and CNI plugins are also part of infrastructure, I would say. So will they ask for those as well, like Cilium
Oh, so
or v-1 token?
CNI is already configured. Okay, so you have to like use so for example, like network policies. Okay, so CNI is already configured. So all you need to create network policies. So you don't have to bother about CNI. You don't have to bother about CSI. So those are the basic part is already configured and set up there.
Okay.
So Okay, so while the class, yeah, so you know how to use Kubernetes docs. Screen size is okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay,
a little bit zoom.
fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so how to use and follow the Kubernetes docs? Okay, so like I mentioned in these, so you see, so latest CKA is on based on version 1.31, and it's 2 months back. So latest one is 1.31. So whenever if you want to check a specific versions, you can check from here. So for 1.30, 1.31, and so on. Then be familiar with this particular section. So how to install? It's not required for the exam, but when you are like setting up your own nodes and or yeah, so that will be very helpful based on the Debians or the Reddit or even for the SUSE. The most important part is like if you want to use a specific version, so uh, the document is well structured. So read all these instructions, and yeah, that's it here. And so you should be familiar how to use the inbuilt the search box here. Okay, so you don't have to remember all these particular sections, so concept, task, tutorials, and whatever. So for example, I cluster upgrade. So see, so it's under the task section. If you go there, so they given the instructions how to perform it. So how to QADM upgrade and how to use the upgrade plans and so those things. So all the instructions is given here. Okay, so it is not hold in exam, but you must check whether this specific package is hold or not. Then check the existing QADM versions, then upgrade plans, and so on. Okay, so it's part of these docs, tasks, administrative clusters, QADM, and QADM upgrade. Next one is for okay, so so you can use these search bars, or you can quickly go to a specific section. So, for example, default deny all ingress traffic. So you can simply go there. So you can copy from this template, or if you hover move your mouse here, you will see there is check here at the bottom. So it's giving you a URL link. You can copy this link and you can simply you can do this in the exam. You see, so you don't have to bother about the template, the alignment, and all those things. So you can simply pull from there, and you can use this template. So for example, this is the lengthy one. Okay, so if you copy paste there, and your VI editor is not uh, sometime it's create a problem, then simply copy and duplicate to here. See, so it's a very handy in the exam. Okay, so it's up to you how you are you comfortable with copy paste or duplicate. It's but I found this You can say uh, this way is really easy for me. So I simply pull this one and in some case I use the gedit and simply like so for example I know the basic VI editors shortcuts, so delete these ones. I don't need KDR blocks, simply delete these ones. Okay, then especially pod selectors, I don't need the egress rule. I simply remove this part, and then I have the skeleton file. So I will change the name, which name is space, what's the pod selectors, what are the labels here. Do I need the ingress rules or egress rules or for the specific ingress, whether from the node selectors or something else, and for which pods and for which ports, TCP, HTTP, or any custom port. You can see. So it's a very easy, simply pull the template and you don't have to write the YAML file from the scratch. Okay. So my cluster is ready. So if I simply, so I have three worker nodes and one master node, and you see, so it's already upgraded. Use the latest version. So for the help command, so you see, so what's the basic command options available. So like I want to check the help for the upgrade section. So apply the node to upgrade a command of node in the clusters or the plans. So check which versions you are available. So try to use CLI help as much as possible. So for example, like if you want to create a cluster rule. Okay, so at the end, you will get a complete example. So instead of writing all these commands, I can simply copy this specific ones and update the required field sections. So I don't have to like go to the docs, check for the cluster roles or role bindings template and okay, so I don't have to either you can copy from here and create the resource or either you can, so which one is easy? This one or go to the docs, copy the template files, update the resource and create update the YAML files and create the resource. So for example, like UCTL create SA. Okay, so create service names. It give you all the examples and the users. So okay, so like if you want to create a multi-container pods, you can simply there's the examples given in yeah. So create uh, so you can easily this one is very helpful. So like if you want to pass a command to run a specific commands, okay, this one. You see, so example is given there. So for example, I want to run a sleep commands or some specific command. You don't have to write the template files. Okay, so simply like for example, I see. So in a with the command line, I can simply like it's which one is easy, running this single command or create a template files and then modify all these fields. Okay, and you should be aware, so like how to place these parameters. So if you run this parameter at the end, then it will assume that the command is this one is the part of the command. Okay, but if you pass all these parameters and accordingly, see, so it's will give you the correct syntax and all those things. uh, for the any specific questions you want to start with, or hello?
One question. For Kubernetes, we can find help either via this minus help option or from the docs. How about
Mhm.
those server, like we need to debug server? Is there any command or some help there? Like if the problem is in master or the worker node and we have to debug. So do we have any shortcut or way for the commands where we can find them?
Yes, so that's why I mentioned to basic understanding about the Linux commands and check how to check these services and check these basic system logs. So, for example, qctl get nodes. So you will so master node with CRI you will get these details. So let me give you one example. So qctl get nodes. Okay, so I log in onto this node. Hmm, okay, let me create some. So, for example, I make some intentional, yeah, and so you will get something like that. So, like not ready. Okay, not ready. Then how? The first thing, specific to the CK, check for the service status. Okay, check for the service status and check for this specific terms, enable preset or the disable. Okay, so it means the service is enabled during the boot times. And if you found any typo or some parameter is not working, so you will see the details here. You see, so current status is inactive, dead, but it is enabled for the uh, during the boot time. Okay, and if I do this and when I check the status here, see the difference. So kubelet, it's enabled and preset is enabled, but here it is mark as disabled, and the status is dead. Okay, so you can simply start the service, and if you start the service and sorry, enable now. So what it will do, it will start the service as well as mark as start this particular service during the boot time. So if I run it here and check the status, see, so it's active now and the active status is activating. So activating means it's in process to start the service. And if you check the journal CTL logs -F, so see this error. Yeah, this one. It's visible.
Yes.
Okay, so what it is complaining for? So command failed, error, failed to run the kubelet, unknown authorization mode equal to mode webhook 1. Okay, and even I start the service, we will check the status here. Got it? So it's clearly saying that unauthorization mode, having some typo or something like that. Okay, so with the name, it's like it's clear that of course it's a typo. So you must be familiar where this configuration file is stored. Okay, so where live kubelet, and it's the config.yaml, which is responsible for the kubelet configuration. Simply you can modify this one. So in exam, it's just a typo. You don't have to like do a like a hardcode troubleshooting. It's a very simple one, and most likely in the authorization modes uh, or here. Uh, yeah, most likely it's in the authorization mode section only. So once you update it, and then you have to like restart the service. System CTL, restart kubelet. Okay. Then again check the state, wait for a few seconds, and then check for the status. So it's saying active. It's changed from activating to active, and your service is enabled during the preset. Preset means when you install the package, by default it's enabled during the boot time, and the service is enabled. So if I reboot my worker node or any specific node, if it is enabled, then my this particular service will come up. And if you check here, so it's ready. Okay, so how to check the service, how to check the general log, how to check the general log. So that will be sufficient for you in the exam, or cd var log, and there is this log file. So it is a Ubuntu based machine in the exam. So you will get this file there, and simply grab cube late and found this log file. So you will see like it's after the servicing one. So let's see. Okay. Okay, so if you in most of the case, general logs will general CTL will provide you where exactly is the problem specific to the exam. It will provide you where exactly is the problem, and if you find that information, that will help. Otherwise, you have to check the logs here. Okay, so like if you see, so the syntax is your time stamp, the host name, and for which particular service. So in that, in this case, it's a system D, but if you check here, it's a kubelet, and as the pod was like a stop in between, so there's some issues with this S3 Q proxy node, but that is fine. So if you check these pod name, get pod -a, you see, so my pods keep running on this one. So in this way, you can find these logs and so on. For the pod log, see where log containers. So in the var log container folder, you will see there's some files. Okay. So the structure is your pod name and your namespace. Okay. And for which container. Okay. Again, the pod name. This is the pod name. So UCTL gets pod -a and the so this is the pod name and the queue system is namespace. So the syntax is pod name in the namespace and for which container. Okay. So if I describe this one, UCTL queue system describe pod. You see, so I have two containers here. One is V and the Viva NPCs. You see the same. The Viva NPC and the Viva init. So it's a init container. So you will see this the Viva init is the init container. In this way, if you're like unable to access your QADM and your pod is, so for example, like if you're unable to access your master nodes and check a specific log, then you can simply check here. So tell space -f, you will see. So this is the same logs. I can see from here. So logs -f container name is see. So I have the same, the mod prob error and this one. You see the same error here. Okay. And on the master node, okay, so whatever files you are modifying here, don't put your any backup file here. Okay, simply copy the, for example, etcd, copy to the or is backup or whatever. Then you start working on it. Okay, and for the API services, I don't think it's relevant for the CKA. Yes, there is one issue in the in the control plane as well, the part of troubleshooting. So that's whether it is in the authorization mode or the enable admission plugin. So there is a typo. Okay, so if API service is not running, you won't be able to check the logs. Okay, so in that case, how you will you find the log? So the best way is as it is the control plane and we are on master, CRICTL, PS, okay, and check PS if the, your pod is running or PS minus A if anything exited there. Okay, so if something wrong in the Q API server files and you won't be able to like find the logs, better to check the container CRICTL logs and you will find which parameter is causing the issue. So logs and for example API services. CRICTL logs and you will see uh, if something wrong. Let me reproduce it. Q API servers and operation mode 1. Okay, systemctl restart to lake and let's wait for the okay. So I'm unable to access my because I did some mistake with APIs and I won't be able to access the QADM to check the log. So now CRICTL PS, you see, so I can access the pod log, but I don't, it's check the logs for, it's the old one, because, yeah. See, so I have two Q API logs. So which one is to follow? So check the created time. Okay. So which one is latest? Try to check the logs for that particular one. See, so you will see the command failed, error, authorization mode, RBAC is not a valid mode. Got it? So I can simply etcd Kubernetes manifest Q API and check this typo and simple remove it and better to restart the kubelet service stop and if I check this you see so it's all Q API but I got another Q API instance which is 3 seconds less and if I check the logs for this one logs okay so it's starting. It takes some time, but yeah, everything look fine. And if I run the CPL, gets pods. Okay. So these are two basic troubleshootings you should expect in the exam. So it's a easy one, and you don't have to do the hardcore troubleshootings, go in depth, and all those things. You don't have to do that. Just check the basic logs, what parameters it's complaining for. So CRICTL logs is sufficient, or yeah, so it's a container D is configured. So you will get the CRICTL's command there. Even let me check. Okay, so CRICTL log and PS minus A, check for the exited pod, and then logs to this specific container. Okay, any question?
No.
Any other questions we can check or on this one?
Thank you. You can share this PPT, if possible.
Yeah, of course.
I have to go for some other work, and
Mhm.
I really appreciate your help and time.
Yeah, I intentionally don't put the solution here so that if you go through it and check for this QCTL halts or the Kubernetes docs, you will find all these solution here. You don't have to stress in the exam. Okay, so for example, like if you have to create the cluster role, so either you can copy the template or you can simply check here. So QCTL create cluster roles health. Okay, so you will in the example section. So what's verb, what resource? Okay, in everything you will get here. Okay, so for example, I want to create this asterisk one dry run client -log, Okay, so you will get a nice and clean template to edit.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and hopefully you won't get any surprise in the exam as it is the same versions and there is no big difference which may impact for the exam preparation. And if you set up your own lab, then it will be really helpful for the exam. Okay, so these type of troubleshootings you
You have
may
set up
like.
in Windows, right? Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, so it's a Windows VMware and it's like Ubuntu machine.
Okay.
Yes. So you don't have to you need 2 GB for the master node and yeah 2 GB for the worker node. So 1 or 2 worker node is sufficient. Yeah. Okay. Any specific questions or anything more to discuss or today or maybe in the upcoming sessions? Feel free to connect on WhatsApp. I will try to schedule another session.
Sure.
Whether for CKA, CKD or CKS, yeah, or maybe
You will
something
upload this
else.
on YouTube or where we can, if you want to review this.
Yeah,
again?
I will upload on YouTube. Maybe not public, but limited access. So I will share it on the group because
Okay.
it's just yeah.
Thank
Mm. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Thanks,
next
Dinesh.
time. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks. Bye.